Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now, I am doing this video to respond to Professor Wole Soyinka's endorsement of Professor Kingsley Moghalu as his preferred candidate for the upcoming Nigerian presidential elections. So I am responding to that endorsement, and I am wanting to discuss with you guys what this portends for the Nigerian state, what this means, how we have evolved as a people, how Professor Wole Soyinka arrived at that decision to endorse Kingsley Moghalu, and of course I'll be speculating on how he arrived at that decision, because obviously he did not consult me before arriving at that decision, so it's just speculating on how we arrived at that decision, because for those of you following my channel, you would know that Kingsley Moghalu is also my preferred choice for the Nigerian presidency. So let's start from the beginning. So Professor Wole Soyinka came out today in a press conference to endorse Kingsley Moghalu as his preferred candidate for the Nigerian presidential elections. So he said that he came to this conclusion after wide consultation, after periods of pondering and reflection, and after having running through all the candidates available, running them through a series of criteria that he has used as benchmarks to assess them, and then as the benchmark to pick his preferred choice. And a lot of the some of the criteria that he used, or the criterion that he used, included agility, ability to respond to the current Nigerian situation, and understanding of the social makeup of the Nigerian state, the geopolitical, the geographical mix of Nigeria, and understanding of that blend and how to balance it, and ability to respond to security situations, etc. So he enumerated the criteria that he used to arrive at that decision, and then having then benchmarked all the available, at least the serious candidates, against that criteria, he then arrived at Kingsley Moghalu as his preferred choice. So this is what Professor Wole Soyinka did, and I also picked Kingsley Moghalu as my preferred choice a while ago, and I'd already made this choice, by the way, months ago, and I'd done a video about it weeks ago. So I'm not coming off the back of Wole Soyinka. Anybody that's been watching my videos would know that Kingsley Moghalu had always been my preferred choice. So now, how did Professor Wole Soyinka arrive at Kingsley Moghalu? So we have looked at the criteria that he stated, and then let's look at other sociological factors that came into play or did not come into play. Now, Professor Wole Soyinka, of course, is a Yoruba man. You do not get more Yoruba than Professor Wole Soyinka. The only person that can probably be more Yoruba than Professor Wole Soyinka will probably be the Alaafin of Oyo or something, somebody really steeped in tradition, So you don't get more Yoruba than Professor Wole Soyinka. And Kingsley Moghalu, of course, is an Igbo man, and we also have Omoyele Sowore as a front runner. So, and we all know how ethnic based the Nigerian decision processes are, or are they? So now that ethnic based decision-making process that we had always assumed as a given is now being challenged by the decisions that people are putting forward in this present political climate, because really that notion that the Nigerian mindset is essentially primal in an ethnic sense is really a fallacy, because I am a Yoruba man, and I picked Kingsley Moghalu on his merit, because I picked Kingsley Moghalu having watched all of these political debates that I could hear. I had to talk about Fasha or whatever his name is. Obviously, he's a clown, so dismissed. Fela Durotoye, we've already spoken about him. He's just, I mean, all those ones don't count. So, but particularly, I've heard all of the argument presented by somebody like Omoyele Sowore, and I agree with a lot of of the things that Omoyele Sowore has had to say and still does have to say. There is nothing that Omoyele Sowore has to say that I do not agree with, and a lot of the things that Omoyele Sowore has to say that I agree with are also similar to the things that Professor Kingsley Moghalu has to say, and I agree with them too. So now, the tone and texture of the not the tone and texture, but certainly the texture of the politics of Kingsley Moghalu and Omoyele Sowore are virtually the same, but the tone is different, and the nuances of the application is different, and it's always in the nuance, because they always say the devil is in the detail. So it's always in the nuance, the devil is always in the detail. And if you then bore down into the details of what these chaps are saying, Professor Moghalu is able to articulate it more in a more practical way that you can see functioning in real life, because all you hear Omoyele Sowore say is you go on television and say, we go Spicer Heat, we do Spicer Heat, we'll turn Nigeria to a construction site, we give them 100,000 and this is one of the arguments actually that swayed me. It's not the argument that swayed me, but it's one of the arguments that swayed me. Now, one of the arguments that swayed me towards Kingsley Moghalu is the debate and the argument around the minimum wage for the Nigerian worker. So now Omoyele Sowore said as soon as he comes into governance, he would immediately set in motion the mechanisms to make the minimum wage for the Nigerian worker 100,000 naira. Now, who can disagree with that? 100,000 naira, if you translate that into hard currency, is really still a low wage. So certainly you cannot argue with that. But then what Kingsley Moghalu then said when he was put this question of the minimum wage, he said, look, the minimum wage for the Nigerian worker is very low. 18,000 naira is no take-home pay for anybody. I think we all agree on that. And it's almost criminal what they did to those people when the senators are taking 13, 14, 15 million naira a month, and a civil servant on the base level is taking 18,000 naira a month. How can you pay somebody 18,000 naira a month and expect that to be a living wage? That is not a living wage. That does not even function for a week. That doesn't even function for 5 days. 18,000 naira. So now. But that is really one of the arguments that I picked up on. So Omoyele Sowore came out and said, oh, he's going to just make it 100,000 naira as soon as he can. But then Kingsley Moghalu said, yes, everybody agrees that the Nigerian worker is underpaid. But then if you increase it to that 100,000 naira, as Omoyele Sowore suggested, then immediately that would trigger inflation in the market, because there is suddenly you have a lot of money in a lot of hands competing for limited amount of goods, and then obviously the price of the goods will then have to inflate to match the demand, because the money is now the excess that is pursuing the limited goods, and obviously the prices of the goods will then inflate. So it will just cause inflation in the country if you spike it that high. But what he did suggest was that a 30 to 40,000 naira is a good baseline with a yearly increment to stagger it up in that pace, and that resonate more with common sense rather than these populist things that Omoyele tends to say, that we will increase it to 100,000 naira Spicer Heat in America and all that. These things that he does. does. And a lot of it I agree with. I do like Omoyele, but it's in those details, in those nuance, that really you find the difference. And that is what swayed my preference towards Kingsley Moghalu. And I'm sure it's the details and the nuance also that swayed Professor Wole Soyinka's preference towards Kingsley Moghalu. So now with Professor Wole Soyinka swaying towards Kingsley Moghalu barely 7 days to the election, what does this mean? Well, this means a lot. Professor Wole Soyinka is a name that Nigerians conjure with. Is a name that has stood the test of time, is an internationally recognized name, is one of the gold standard names in the Nigerian landscape, because it's one of the names that we have in Nigeria that transcends the borders of our country to stand as an icon on the international scene and as a reference point. So in Nigeria, we go anywhere in the world and say, well, we have Wole Soyinka, a Nobel laureate winner in literature. So it's a source of pride for the nation, and he has always carried that authority. So the weight of that authority is reflected in his endorsement. So that endorsement then that he gives to Kingsley Moghalu, we said there's 7 days to the elections. Well, it still carries weight, because even towards even 7 minutes to the point of voting, some people are still undecided. Some people actually make the decision on who to vote as they enter that ballot booth. So now the undecided really are then swayed by the weight, or some of the undecided, certainly the educated, the enlightened, people who look towards Wole Soyinka's voice as one of the voice that they want to take into consideration for a decision. And there are a lot of people who look to Wole Soyinka's voice as a voice that they want to take into consideration for before making a decision. So it carries all of that weight. So that certainly increases Kingsley Moghalu's chances more than it was before he got that endorsement from Wole Soyinka. And it's quite pertinent, because Wole Soyinka really was one of the people that backed Buhari in 2015, because he was fed up with the corruption too. But now his eyes has been cleared by the Buhari brutality and the nepotism and the tribalism and the religious bigotry and the cluelessness and the his eyes, everybody's eyes is now cleared of the Buhari thing now. They see that it's an abject failure, and Atiku is not really an option. Is MC corruption, is a with top of the charts in the corruption league, is the Manchester City of corruption premiership, so he's out of the question too. So if both of the behemoths are out of the question, then you have to look to the alternatives. And which one is the most viable of all of the alternatives? It was Kingsley Moghalu, Omoyele Sowore, and Obi Ezekwesili, who has now dropped out, were really the three names to conjure with amongst the new emergence into the landscape. Obi dropped out, so then we're down to two, Kingsley and Omoyele. So with this endorsement now, Omoyele has a slight edge over Kingsley, because he's put in the hard work, he's campaigned all over the country, and he's brought his name really to the fore. And if you look at all of the polls, all the political polls in terms of who wins the elections, the polls we did that tell you that Atiku or Buhari would win, but all of the polls will tell you that Omoyele will come third. So now with this endorsement now, Kingsley Moghalu now narrows that distance between his fourth position, because Kingsley Moghalu obviously is the fourth choice. So Kingsley Moghalu now narrows his position from that fourth choice to threaten, if not surpass, Omoyele's third position, because Omoyele really agitated for that Wole Soyinka's endorsement, because he feels like that is off that political family, that political, because if you look at that for me, it's a left of the center of the ideological divide, because there's an ideological divide in politics, which I will do a separate video on, but I'll just give you a brief synopsis. So you have the far right, and then you have the center ground, and then you have the far left. The far right will be somebody like Buhari, for instance, who will be like a far right, or an Abacha will be a far right. And then to the center, you have people who gravitate either slightly to the right or slightly to the left. So somebody like Omoyele is left of center, somebody like Kingsley Moghalu is left of center, and somebody like Soyinka is very left wing, somebody like Fela is very left wing, and Omoyele has always identified himself as being of that ilk, of that background, of that resonance of the Soyinka, Fela Kuti, Beko Kuti, Femi Falana type radicalism, Gani Fayemi, that kind of Ahmadu Bello type of mindset. He's always identified himself as being of that school, so he would have anticipated and expected and hoped for and lobbied for a Wole Soyinka endorsement. So that Wole Soyinka endorsement of Kingsley Moghalu is a real coup for Kingsley, because because one, he has traversed into Wole Omoyele rather Showore's territory, but in terms of ethnic leanings, and in terms of political leanings, and in terms of all of the leanings, and he has gone to take the biggest prize that there is there within that landscape, of course, which is Wole Soyinka, because the endorsement of Wole Soyinka is really quite a thing. And Kingsley Moghalu has also, of course, been endorsed by the Ooni of Ife, but then the Ooni of Ife endorses everybody, because all the traditional rulers will welcome you into their palace and wish you well. So there's nothing really to be read into that. But really, I thought it was a real coup. I was hoping to keep this video short for the chaps, especially watching from Nigeria, but then really it needed to be explained in full, and I'm sorry that it dragged on for this long. But I'll end it here, because I just wanted to bring this to your notice, so that we can have a conversation round it. And that conversation, of course, you all well know, takes place in the comment section on this channel. So I'll leave you here, and I'll meet you there, and I'll say peace.